Hear the drums, yours and mine, and it beats for our time. From the forest to the tide, we are the hearts of pine. Hear the drums, yours and mine, and it beats for our time. From the forest to the tide, we are the hearts of pine. Oh, dear God. Oh, dear God. Hear the drums, yours and mine, and it beats for our time. From the forest to the tide, we are the hearts of pine. We're the hearts of pine. We're the hearts of pine.
Yeah, first time on the pod, long time listener, first time caller. So yeah, thanks for having me. Kirk Jones, DU member, season ticket member in the zoo, so certainly right in the rowdiness with everybody. It's funny, I think I bring a different perspective where I played soccer growing up until seventh grade, then moved to a town that had football and I transitioned to football, but wasn't a huge soccer fan until the Hearts of Pine came. And shout out Glenn Barnes, who's also a season ticket member and a DU member. He goes, "We're getting season tickets." And I went up to one of the Lewiston games, was our first one, and I absolutely fell in love with the game, the community, Dirigo. And played sports, so I understand like the teamwork, the pace, the space, like all your like plays and everything like that. So certainly learning as I go, but can see it unfold in the matches as we watch them and certainly watch back online. But yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
How about that? How about that, Sean? Should be working now. Sorry about that, folks. I didn't do much talking. I did a lot of this circling. Um, so thank you for being here. For those that didn't hear it, the TLDR. Kirk, thank you for for sharing a fresh perspective, a newer perspective to soccer. Really excited to hear what you have to say. Sam, over to you, buddy. How are we feeling pre-game against Chattanooga, top of the table? I know you've had some passionate takes this season, so I'd love to hear what you thought about the team going into this match and what your expectations were.
Yeah, well, let's not mince our words here, Mitch. The return fixture out at Chattanooga was a disappointment. We go down to Chattanooga and from the outside looking in, it seemed like Red Wolves weren't going to be, that tough of an opponent. But then you bring in the fact that, they're 90% of their pitches straight mud, the old CONCACAF special, and we dropped that one to them 2-1, and it made for at least going into this one, I think revenge is the first word that comes to mind on it, because it feels like we let them get away with 3 points they didn't really deserve.
And this was early on when Chattanooga hadn't really found their form. There were a lot of question marks. And I really think the wheels started turning for them with their matchup against Naples right before they saw us. That was the first time I had watched one of their games this season. Um, and Kirk, I don't know if you remember watching that game. I remember feeling pretty frustrated. Uh, we weren't stringing passes together too well. It didn't really have that fight that we've seen out of Bobby Murphy's side all season. That grit to chase the ball and really kind of make us feel like there's always a possibility that a goal's gonna come. But that first leg didn't really have it. How are you feeling going into this match after the recent run of form? You know, the Hearts have just won 3 in a row, and the top of the table is coming to your house. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I was excited and looking forward to the challenge, right? We've been hot. We know that we're clicking on all cylinders. I think where I had a little bit of concern, I guess, was the stretch we had off. We had some people taking some time off. Were we going to have a little bit of rust? Are we going to miss that little bit of cohesiveness that we formed and having those games so consecutive? I think that showed up a little bit in the game, honestly. I think there was a couple things that we lacked on timing, on precise passing, but it was a good challenge, right? They're top of the table, and it's just a good understanding to see where we're at. I think one thing you said, Mitch, Chattanooga wasn't the same team when we played them last. I think I would say the same thing for us, right? You and I were kind of talking about that before. We're a different team than we are. I think we've bonded. We have a lot more chemistry going on. Obviously, a few more players in the mix now, but I felt pretty good. I did.
So, as per usual, the match day starts at the Portland Zoo. Um, vibes were confident across the board, I would say. And one thing that ran true, um, everybody felt a set piece goal was due. Um, I want to say 7 or 8 times I heard it. We're scoring on a corner tonight. We're scoring on a corner tonight. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. So I think a lot of people wanted to see Sega in the starting lineup. We get the team knowing that Michel Punangeron's sitting out due to a red card in the last match at Greenville. So there was some question marks. You know, we were going to be forced to switch up the side and press on. I think my biggest nightmare was having a Knoxville-esque, quick punch in the mouth 5 minutes in, and then have this team that has figured out how to play the low block like none other. They're not conceding. They're holding their shape and they're playing physical and they're playing their way and not letting teams get results because of it. I think they're on 11 unbeaten, and out of those 11 games, it's 9 wins. They've rocketed to the top of the table. So this was a big test. This was a big test going into the fall footy classic in Portland and hoping to really keep this streak alive. And as the game kicks off, I was pleasantly surprised with the energy I was seeing. Although what Kirk mentioned, the passing was a little bit loose, and it took us a little bit of time to get into the game. But as it happened, I think there were some key moments that forced us to get into the game. Sam, what stood out to you in the first 15 or so minutes?
First 15 or so minutes, I mean, it was a bit of a feeling out process as there is in any game, but then again, Chattanooga, they play a real aggressive style of football, and they made it very clear with a yell getting picked up very early on, and then of course later on, Hearts having to make two injury subs in the course of what, 10 minutes.
It was pretty quick, yeah.
Yeah, we had Sean Vinberg start at right center back. Um, and he unfortunately went down injured. He took a blow to the face or the back of the head. From what I could see, I haven't gone back to look at the incident. So Sega is forced to come on really, really early. Uh, and I wasn't too concerned at that point. Obviously, we've seen Sega put in some pretty stalwart performances, pretty calm performances, but he has been shaky on the physicality side. Has gone down with a couple of really jarring as a fan injuries, non-contact for the most part. Um,
Which are the worst, right?
yeah, and we've already had one incident this year, and I think your stomach just turns because we know these players are fighting for the good of the game. They all have their head on their shoulders, pulling the ship in the same direction. So to have that connection and know that they're not feeling good right now makes your stomach turn. Um, but when Sega ultimately went down, that's when I was kind of okay. Time to lock in. Time to bear down, and really show the league and ourselves what's possible when we work hard. Um, I really like how the fans reacted when that went down. We were in the middle of a song, whistle goes. We notice that Sega's down, so we cut it for a second. And then Chattanooga starts running lip. They're barking. The guys on the bench are standing up, jawing at the referee. So what does Dana do? You're on the bench. Sit down. And everybody got into that very quickly. That was one of my favorite moments so far at Fitzy. Um, and it was loud. It was long, and the broadcast couldn't look away either.
Yeah, which
Kirk,
there
what
was a
were
funny
one
moment
one
there.
second, Sam. Let's let Kirk
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
let's let Kirk chime in for going back and watching the game after living it, and then being one of the first games that you've watched back. What was your impression on the Fitzy noise?
Yeah, and for the context, it was. So it, I have tickets in the zoo, so I'm there in the games I can make, and it was the first game that I've attended and watched back online. So super curious to see what everybody sounded like. And you can hear chants, and maybe it's a little biased that I know what the chants are, so I can make it out. But it was pretty loud when that fella on the bench started running his gums a little bit when Sega was down. When it was saying, you're on the bench, sit down, it got very loud and you could clearly hear it. Even more so, some of the other players that were not that player kind of looked back and started laughing. They're like, oh, that guy messed up.
The guys that were in fact on the bench sitting down,
Exactly.
kind of clowning. Sam, your thoughts?
Yeah. And it got to the point where I forget, the color commentator had some interesting words to mark Dana. I believe it was the woman in the front with the blowhorn.
Yeah, with the blowhorn or bullhorn or something. Yeah.
Yeah, which it's kind of funny out of context, but even then, it's one of those things where where DU makes the difference. Because I mean, Chattanooga plays in front of 6 fans every home match week, so this is their friggin' Super Bowl. It's no wonder why he was standing up, and because you can get away with that at your home stadium.
Not in Portland,
And then
Maine.
one thing actually to call out, you said Dana. I remember at the beginning of the game, so I brought my best friend who's not a soccer fan. He just comes because I drag him along to sporting events, and he comes with me and entertains me. And I said, just let you know, like it gets loud, stand up. There's chanting. It's a vibe. And it was right before the game started, and it said like, let's show them what a real supporter group is, and let them know like what a real crowd is. And I think she kind of set the tone for the zoo, and that game was pretty loud.
I think everybody got the message, and this is a game where I really think People are starting to get it. They're watching the league. They're watching the product. They know what's at stake. And everybody that was at Fitzy was there for the fight. They were there for, you know, the top of the table coming to town and making it an uncomfortable place to be. Um, really, really proud. Really, really proud of how we showed up. I know Sean was running late to Fitzy, and Jensen was Donaldson was giving him a little nudge verbally. The band showed up. We had some new instruments in the section that sounded phenomenal. The horns really came to life in this last game. Sam, could you touch on some of the things that the band has been doing to keep the energy going, as well as changing things to keep them fresh and exciting?
Well, yeah, and a lot of this goes to, Chris and Sean who run the whole ordeal. It honestly all starts and ends on Wednesday nights at Bunker, where we all get together. We rehearse some new stuff. We just it's it's our proverbial throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. And if it's good enough to hit the stands, it hits the stands. If it doesn't, might work on it a few weeks more. And but it's stuff like that, just keeping everybody going. Even in the spaces where, say Sega goes down and some Chattanooga players yapping at him while he's down. That's where, the rest of the DU comes in, and you know, it's never a low energy moment in the zoo. And
Obviously not.
yeah,
Obviously not. But we have
yeah.
debuted a couple new drum beats, a couple new songs
Hmm.
that I think really took off and added an extra level to the stands this last game. Kirk, what were your thoughts on some of the new songs that had entered the chat?
Yeah, new songs are great. And love that Dana kind of rehearses them a little bit before it as well. Just because, I mean, there's probably a lot of DU in the zoo, but for any newcomers or people transfer tickets or whatever, going over the chants in the beginning, and then as the game progresses, you hear them multiple times, so you can kind of pick up as we go. The game intensifies, more energy comes up, so it gets louder and louder. Uh, I think the zoo was receptive. I think that's great. I think we kind of know too, as we learn new songs and we develop, the season goes on, the zoo kind of creeps to the right a little bit into 117 or 118, kind of getting over there. So I think, yeah, just the more people we have supporting and the chants, just the better off everyone's going to be.
Couldn't agree more. Sam, other than the injuries, other than the yapping, was there anything that stood out from the Hearts play or Chattanooga's play? Any memorable moments for you that you wanted to touch on in this first half before
I
the
mean,
penalty?
not really. There was just, I think really a good majority of this was Hearts dictating the play. But but then again, that's Chattanooga's style, in that they'll let you dictate the game, but they're gonna grab one, and then they're not gonna park the bus, they're gonna park the plane. And that's sort of the way this went, and it's a credit to Hearts for not letting them. But if we want to jump forward here, I want to talk about the penalty conceded by Mikey Lopez. I know we touch on this every single freaking week, but PRO, what are you doing? Wait, if you're gonna, if you know it's a clean shoulder to shoulder, and Chattanooga, with their tendency to dive, flop, whine, etc., to get that call is just infuriating.
Well, did you hear that
But
their coach actually makes them take acting classes before the season?
Wouldn't surprise me.
No, they don't do that. I was just kidding.
uh, you know, I've chewed on it for a couple days now, and part of me is like, yeah, it's soft, but
10 black.
Mikey's also a veteran. He should know what Chattanooga is going to be doing in a situation like that. Like, there's there is the devil's advocate side to this coin where, he's the captain of this team and should know better than to put himself in a position to let the ref make that call. But it is soft as baby shit. It is weak, and it's frustrating going into the halftime yet again with a sour taste in our mouths. We didn't really do much to benefit our case in that first half. We had one shot, none of them on target. The one shot came right before Sega's injury, I believe. JT narrowly missed the post on the left side.
That's right. Yeah, when they
Um,
bounced out, yeah.
bounced right back off the ad boards and into play. And I mean, when you're passing the ball as much as we are, I know position is a meaningless stat. You're holding 2/3 of it, slinging the ball around. I don't know. I think this team should be taking more chances. They should be trying to fire and capitalize on mistakes. And I don't know if we necessarily put the foot down fast enough in this first half.
I agree with that. And one thing I'll just add, it's so tough that going back to the penalty kick and the call there. So I play basketball and I refereed basketball. And the one thing that as a ref, like you might think you know what happened, but you can only call what you see. And even the color commentator on there said it, and you just said it, Mitch, was shoulder to shoulder. And love the perspective of Mikey should know better going in there and even being at risk, right? That's
Yep.
certainly a great opinion. Should he put himself in that position? Maybe, maybe not. But obviously it didn't fall our way. I guess I'll just say that. It was an unfortunate break. But that was a tough one. But I agree with you. I think there was a play in the second half where it was Messer and Wada in front of the goal, and they just kept being super unselfish about going back and forth and ended up blowing up the play because it was too unselfish and no shot on goal. And I mean, I can't remember the stats we had it up, but I think we had what 10 shots to their uh we had 8 shots to their 10 shots total, and both 3 and 3 shots on goal. So I think we need to be more aggressive to your point, Mitch.
Yeah, and it's another instance of a Bobby halftime team talk where, you know, it shouldn't take two center backs getting injured. It shouldn't take loose passing and getting yelled at by your manager at this point in the season. And maybe that's the next step into getting, buttoned up is knowing that we can go out there and perform without getting yelled at or without having something kick us into gear. But I will credit Chattanooga. They are a tough nut to crack. They shell up. It is hard to find those opportunities, but part of me wishes they were just ripping. Like the ball's gonna bounce somewhere. It's play hard. Around the box, play hard. But in the second half, we come out and shoot the ball 8 times, and good things started happening. Um, we finally find ourselves converting a corner. I know some people are going to debate if it's gonna
So
count
that's
or
the
not.
question I had about coming into soccer. Does that count or not? Let me know.
I count it. At this point in the season,
It
I'm
was part of
counting
a
that.
set piece.
It was part of a set piece. It was by design. You play it in short, draw the defenders, create the space, and give it a different angle of attack. And it finally worked. Kamali Green, I cannot speak highly enough. It's the defensive version of Titus. He didn't have a great outing. He had that loose header that led to a goal on the road. But other than that one mistake, he's been looking great on the ball confident to push ahead and allow our midfielders to move up and create space. He's been attacking the ball defensively and getting into the right areas and blocking chances, snuffing out threats. And now he's running into the right spaces on a corner, back post, finds a clean header, and squeaks it by for the lone goal for the Hearts on the night, and ultimately leads to him winning the man of the match. I don't think Messer undoubtedly was our best player on the pitch stats wise. He was everywhere. He was slinging in crosses. He was the one facilitating. But for having to work in three different pairings, for showing that grit and determination, Kamali had to get the buoy, in my opinion. Sam, what do you think?
Yeah, and it's on that. I got a number here for you, Mitch. 155 days. That is the amount of time that has passed between the last Hearts set piece goal in league play to Kamali Green's header to equalize. Now, I don't know about you, but that's about 150 days too long for my liking.
Is that to the Firelands free kick, or is that to Patty Langlois' clean up
That is
on
to Patty
Messer's?
Langlois' tap in. Firelands, it would be even more. And also, I guess this also is not counting the. Well, actually, I don't know. I guess this is also not counting the Ollie strike from the edge of the box against Halifax to win it,
Yeah,
because
that
that came
that
off a
wouldn't.
corner.
Yeah, that one I wouldn't
That was
count.
open play.
That was open play. The opportunity had been snuffed out. This was intentional. And Chad is agreeing with us. Donald showing up, saying what up, everybody. Sean saying it counts. Jason Richards saying 100%. First professional goal for him. So much deserved.
Right.
I can't say it enough. This club, we're not MLS level, we're not Premier League level. We're a young side. We're developing, and we're checking all the boxes right now. We're putting out a competitive product. The guys are getting better on the field, and ultimately, we just went toe to toe with the top of the table in a not so fun matchup and still found a way to grab a point. And I can't help but feel confident of, if we just make it through the playoffs, anything can happen. And I don't think there's another team you'd want to bet on other than the Hearts of Pine. I really think the fight showed up. We didn't lay down. We had 3-4 times we could have easily just laid down and called it a night. Plenty of opportunities, but they locked
They
in.
did.
JT looked great on the ball again.
Oh, I want to come back to JT there because I know Bobby kind of pressured and kind of gave JT a little bit of a challenge this week on the game. We'll come back to that. But so my question is, again, learning about the whole short corner and the whole soccer thing from a corner kick, because we scored on a short corner, should we more focus on that strategy rather than just a corner and sending it in across?
I mean, the way I see it, at least, Kirk, is that I mean, I do think it's nice to have that sort of in the back pocket as an option. Um, but I mean, that's not to say that, good things haven't happened from regular corners. Case in point, Ollie Wright against Halifax. But I do think it was nice to see the Hearts switch it up a bit on their corners. I think now we only need uh the the Olympico is waiting.
Honestly, it felt like they were trying for one at some points in that match. Um, but to give you kind of like an analogy, it's a lot like establishing the run game to open up the pass in football, in American football terms, right? You have
Mhm.
you have the direct corner where you can, with a right-footed on the right side, you're swinging the ball in toward the net. We had done that a few times, established that, and then we started switching to the short pass to put it on Messer's left foot to have a outswinging ball to go away from the net and just give a different angle of attack. It's just opening up a different facet of the defense. So it's going to be heavily situational. It's going to depend on how tall the other team is. It's going to depend on how many people they're putting in the box and what the keeper's doing. Is the keeper coming out to attack the corner to snuff it out, or is he holding his line, waiting for the header to come in? So it's very situational.
And I think that plays into Chattanooga's game plan well, or game plan in general is, I think you said it, Mitch, is they kind of wait for their moment to attack. And I think one thing that came to my head watching back and kind of hearing the color commentary after being at the game was unforced errors, right? Like, don't force anything and just wait for the other team to make a mistake and capitalize on that. They know what they're good at is flooding the box, not letting people score. I think the stat I heard for the goalie was he has more clean sheets than I think goals against. So they certainly are a defensive minded team, and they load the box, right? They just don't have a lot of goals scored on them. And if they win these games 1-0, I mean that's what they're looking for. They're looking for that 2-goal game to win because nobody else scores on them.
3 points is 3 points, and goal differential doesn't really matter when you're at the top of the table.
Agreed.
I mean, while it is a frustrating brand of football to watch, like imagine that 17 times at Fitzpatrick this year, 18 to 20 times next. Like imagine if that was how we played football. I think a lot of people would look at what we're doing a lot differently. Um,
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
but that all boils down to head coaching philosophy. Every single coach is different. Every team that they want to put out on that field is different, and the way that we play the game is really exciting, but it can be really frustrating at times too when these little things that we can all see, but when the 11 guys out there aren't doing it, it's only them that can do it. We can't get out there and do it for them, and they're the
Yeah.
ones that are paid to do it, and they're the ones training week in and week out, and I'm super proud of what we've built and the resiliency to battle back through that adversity. Mike in the chat saying Chattanooga weren't any better than anyone else we've seen. We still have not been embarrassed by anyone, and I don't think we will going forward. That's very true. We haven't seen a 4-0, 5-0 in league play. I wouldn't
Mhm.
even say the Jägermeister Cup against Rhode
Rhode Island.
Island was even indicative of the scoreline. That was a player having a good day, bagging a hat trick, and we didn't really
Yep.
show up as much as we could have.
Correct.
But neither here nor there. This club is still unbeaten. We did not lose at home. So, looking ahead, we have 2 matches this week. First one's coming up. Richmond Kickers. We're playing the quick reverse leg on the road on Wednesday. What do you think we can see out of this team with some quick hit injuries in our last matchup? We're looking at Naples on the weekend at home. Sam, what do you think we could see out of this Hearts of Pine side moving to Richmond after the game we just played against them?
Well, I think you're going to see a resilient Hearts side, one that we've seen. This team is never one to back down from a challenge, and with the 2-match week inbound, we're going to see it. And with the reverse fixture that was played at Fitzy, the Chamberlain Army game, that ultimately ended in a 0-0. Although Hearts could have easily taken a point or taken more than 1 point out of that. Given it's a road game, we're playing in Richmond. And this team The road form has improved slightly. Um, I'm expecting one. Would be pleasantly surprised if we took three.
Who do you think comes in any potential absence? Who do you think we see on this back line? Because we've had a lot of ups and downs. Colby picked up the knock in Westchester, hoping to see him back sooner rather than later. Mo Muhammad's been looking really good in his minutes that he's received as of late, attacking, attacking, attacking. Looks like a constant threat, and then has the pace to get back to snuff out a counter. Really impressed with what I've seen out of him. And now we have question marks with Sega and Sean moving into the midweek with a third game on Sunday. Um, I think Kamali is the lock, obviously. But do you think there's any significant changes? Do we see Shandon Wright get a start? Do we see maybe a rotation in the midfield to get maybe Mickey some minutes or Evan some extra minutes and give Wada a look on the bench or off the bench to have some fresher legs for Sunday?
I think it'll be interesting coming into coming into this one because Richmond, while still a very formidable side, um, the big 6 pointer is Sunday. Um, but that doesn't mean that Hearts should necessarily take their foot off the gas. They're still in a heater, and I think, yeah, maybe Shandon Wright does get maybe a start or maybe some time off the bench. I think Mo will have to play the entirety of this one out. It's the defense is stretched very thin at this point. We had Mikey Lopez playing at the outside back. Um, so I don't know. Uh, I'm not Bobby as much as I would like to be Bobby with this great fashion sense and great football mind. Um, but ultimately, it's Bobby's decision.
Kirk, is
So I'm
there
going to go
anybody
out
you
on a limb
want to
and
see?
say here, we talked about the other coach's great hair. Let's just say Bobby Murphy has great hair too. Okay, he does have a good hairline. Little jealous of it. I used to have hair back in the day, but
Tell me
Mitch,
about it.
no pun intended. Yeah, this is foot and mouth in that moment. As soon as it came out of my mouth, I'm like, what? Um, no, I think Mo has to play, right? He's going to get the minutes. He showed he's earned those minutes. I think that's valid for sure. One thing that I noticed watching the game back, I want to see Wada more on the offensive end and for him to touch the ball more. From what I've seen, anytime he touches the ball, just great things happen. So any way we can get him more touches, I think that's just going to benefit the Hearts.
Sam, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I think you do bring up a very good point, Kirk. I think Watt has been sort of a Swiss Army knife in the midfield. And, we've been seeing play more of a CDM at this point. That's more suited for, say, a Patty Langlois. Um, I think if we see him more at the cam role, see him create more, he does wonders for the Hearts attack. Um, and while we did see JT in that role during Chattanooga, I think maybe a switch up to the shape might be in order for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see how that shakes out. I Richmond is one of the tougher places to go play. So I'm curious to see what the midweek has in store for us. Current look at the table after the weekend, Charlotte lost to Naples on Friday, so we are now level on points with the Charlotte Independents. Um, we are in sixth technically on wins. I believe that is the first tiebreaker, or because we have a better goal differential than Charlotte. So That would make
Yeah, but
sense.
we also have matches in hand, so
3 of them. 3 big matches
hmm
in hand on Charlotte and on Naples. 2 against Knoxville and Chattanooga, and 1 on Spokane. So there's a lot still to chew on this plate. That is the top of the table and the playoff push. Looking just below us to close off the playoff window, we have AV Alta in seventh, also level on points, but we have 3 games in hand on them. And Union Omaha are in eighth, just a point back. So anything can happen. This is going to be
hmm
some exciting footy. Every result matters from here on out. We only have 9 league matches left. It's crazy that this season is coming to such an abrupt end. But I'm so excited for what we have in store. This team is finding stride at the right time. I think I'd feel even a lot better if we were able to get 3 points on the road this weekend. But I think my mind's already waiting for Naples to walk into Fort Fitzy at the weekend. That's one I've had circled since March. I've being able to make the trip down, not getting the result down there, getting rained on, and then coming home getting snowed on, and then rained on for 8 weeks. I think it's time. I think this team needs to kick it into the next gear if it's there and lock in. We have the right veterans. We have the right leadership. We're making key adjustments each game that help us move in the right direction. And I genuinely believe that the Portland Hearts of Pine are going to finish with a nice playoff spot. They're going to work their tails off no matter who we're seeing or where we're seeing them. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to catch Naples. 10 points. This 6-pointer on Sunday means a lot more.
Yep.
Let's look over to the chat before we start wrapping up with some final thoughts. It's weird. Sean's not on, and we don't have a pint of positivity on camera. So I know Shane's joined in. UTFH, up the fucking hearts, buddy. Thank you for popping in. Jason saying nothing short of fourth is acceptable. You know, I couldn't agree more. I think Fort Fitzy is an undoubtable 12th man, and if we don't get 12th man treatment, I'm gonna be a little frustrated. But at the same time, coming into this season, knowing that we were gonna be young, knowing this is gonna be a foundation year, and not knowing what to expect, beyond that, I'm happy with a spot in the playoff push.
And it's a balance, right? Because we do have the first year kind of okay, we don't know what to expect, but then we know Fort Fitzy is kind of it is the 12th man, right? I think even the
Yeah.
commentator said like Dirigo Union kind of sets the bar for what a supporter group should be, especially for USL One. So yeah, I think I like the fourth or bust. I don't know. I like that.
Yeah, fourth or bust, I think, is where a lot of us are sitting right now after the last 4 matches. Being able to pick up 13 out of 15 points, or sorry, 12 out of 15 or something like that. My math skills aren't
Yeah, just
great. It's almost 9 o'clock
carry the
on a
two,
Monday.
Mitch. Carry the two. Yeah.
But no, I think all of us are kind of catching the possibility that a home playoff uh, spot is attainable. It's not going to be easy. We do have a Naples fan in the chat. Naples is on a 10-game unbeaten streak, by the way, so not an
Oh,
easy task at the
Naples.
moment.
I'm sorry to
And I
hear
know,
that.
and I know that, and I'll
that's a
give.
nice unbeaten streak you'd have. Be ashamed if someone ruined it.
Yeah, law of averages says it's coming to an end soon.
I will say though, having players like Jaden Onen coming back at the right time is big, and that paid dividends. He got to take the penalty that ultimately was sealing the game against um, Charlotte at the weekend. So getting that confidence back at the right time for these expansion sides is going to be really important with the injury bugs and Carson Henderlong if he continues to do what he's been doing, putting in a Golden Boot campaign. You know that they aren't a team to scoff at, and I think that's why Sunday's a big one. Sunday might feel a little bit bigger for some folks than Chattanooga did. I think there's a little bit more meat on this one, and there's a little bit more of a fight there.
Yeah, and big shout out to Naples fan joining us for the podcast live. Appreciate that. Made the best team win, and look forward to the Hearts winning.
Didn't play well against Charlotte, but got the job done for sure. As soon as I saw that handball against the run of play, I was like, okay, Naples has got this one. And I know a couple other people felt the same sentiment. That was a rough game. But
Yeah.
points are points, and if at this point in the season you have to grab every single one of them that you can. So
Hmm.
I'm just really excited for what this week. We have a couple more 3-8s coming. Like the last month of the season, month and a half of the season is going to be really, really, really hot. I don't think anybody's going to have trouble staying warm at a nice cold Fitzy in just 4 or 5 weeks. Don't know if I pissed anybody off with that one. Still holding on to the summer sunshine, but I definitely think fall is in the air here in Maine, and it's going to set the stage for some really exciting football moving forward.
I was gonna say that third kit's gonna be long sleeve for me. I'll say that.
Sam's getting them all. A resident kit
Yeah,
collector.
the Hearts Uni Tracker, the good folks over at Hearts Uni Tracker are following this new development closely, and from what we can tell, it will be ready for Texoma.
Yeah, when's that?
2 weeks.
Ooh,
October 31st.
we're on recording, Sam. We got this.
Not Mitch.
It'll be ready by October 31st.
Yeah, wait, 2 weeks? That's
No, 2 weeks.
I know. And I mean, Mitch just said he wasn't good in math, and he just proved his point.
Yeah, Mitch. What are you on, dude? It's the 27th, September 27th.
Yeah, no, you just throw out a date way further in the future and hope that it comes true.
Yeah.
I don't know when it's
Under
coming.
promise, over deliver.
It'll be ready by Christmas time. I promise.
Yeah. Well, a nice third kit. Who knows? Well, we could have a whole Hearts Uni Tracker segment here, and how there's planned rotations, and how the Woods and Water might be around for another season, but we'd be here for another hour at least, so I'm gonna spare everybody.
I was gonna say, drop it in the chat. What do you think the next uni release is gonna be?
And here comes Ian saying plaid.
Yeah, of course. Number one, smash that like button.
I'm just excited for the on-field stuff at this point. Like, I think the Woods and Water dropping was really, really special, and then after that I was like, let's get to work. Yeah, no, I know the away kit is gonna be fire regardless. Like after the first one came out, I knew to have faith. Like, we're gonna have some very, very nice kits. So I can't wait to see what the club comes up with for a third kit.
Funny you mentioned that. I was watching back Knack Factory's Up the Hearts documentary the other day, and they cut to a certain DU power couple waiting outside the State Theater, and Dana got the away kit spot on. Josh got the home kit spot on. So maybe I should just start talking to the Rickers. Are they the end all be all now for kit predictions?
They might.
Inside
Or are they
scoop.
good?
They might. Sam's been trying to take the Kit Man title, but we'll
Hey,
have to see.
I had the general gist, but I didn't get the away kit. I will say that I will concede on that.
It's either flannel or like hunter orange, or what else could it be?
Potentially.
I'd love to see one like painted like
From what I'm
ship
hearing,
flags or like signal flags. Like, there's so much potential.
Well-
There's so much potential for Maine
Agreed.
themed
Sarge-
kits, and we've just scratched the surface. I'm just so excited to see whatever comes next.
well, Hearts Unitracker is hearing rumors that the kit will release in Freeport the day before.
I
So
wonder
make of
what's
that
in
what you will.
Freeport. Linda Beans, right? They're sponsoring it.
Sam's got some crazy
knows?
sources because he knows more things than I do. I'm just sitting here like, what are you talking about?
The benefits
Chef
of being
over
Hearts Unitracker.
Yeah.
Oh my
Can't
goodness! Roll out the ticker
release my
tape.
sources.
Yeah.
Okay,
Anyways,
Sean, if you're here, I'll give you one quick moment to type out a pint of positivity if you have it. If not, you'll have
and
to
everybody
save it for
else
the
in the
next
chat,
one.
drop W's in the chat if you want to see Hearts Unitracker become more than just a spreadsheet.
There's always a
Definitely.
spreadsheet.
For sure. And smash that like button.
Love me a good spreadsheet.
Sam loves a spreadsheet. No, Sean, come on. No pint of positivity tonight. Unfortunately, we're all going to bed angry and pessimistic.
So much for that.
All right.
Oh well. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. All the way from Naples. Really appreciate you tuning in. It's going to be an exciting end of the season. We've got a lot coming. I think the watch. Oh! We do have a pint of positivity. He is still here and cares about us.
Woo, Sean coming through.
Sean Fectos, pint of positivity. Nobody scares us. Playoffs. Where can win any match? Playoffs can win any match.
We can win any match.
We can win any match.
He has a point. Going down the table, we have, if I'm not mistaken, we have taken points off every team in League One so far this season.
Ooh, interesting.
Nobody's done the double.
Make of that what you will.
Nobody's done the double. Very exciting stuff. We will see you all on the next one, probably Thursday night. We got a busy week. Bissell Brothers Watch Party Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, for those in the area or want to make the trek. And then this weekend, Sunday, we're right back at Fort Fitzy for more action against FC Naples. Mitchell, Sam, Kirk, signing out. We'll see you next time. Up the Hearts.
Up the Hearts. Yeah.
Hear the drums, yours and mine, and it beats for our time from the forest to the tide.